Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly here, and welcome back to the Toy Box. Just woke up, recorded a video, had some breakfast, have some tea so that I can actually sound like a human, and let's go, because I cannot wait any longer. This box that's over here in the corner got delivered yesterday. Oddly enough, the second one of this same thing that I ordered at the exact same time hasn't even shipped yet, but that's okay, because I only need one right now to review. It is, as you probably already know if you saw, but it is Monster High Scullector Bride of Frankenstein doll! I'm so stoked, you guys. Okay. So excited. I did not expect these to be here already, and I could not be happier though, because other people have been starting to get theirs, including my friends already have theirs, and yeah, I really want these dolls. So the box is very heavy, but I'm guessing a lot of that is the box, just like with my Laguna Scullector, most of her weight comes from the box. Alright, so we're gonna slide this off. That I guess was just on there to help pull it out of the box, which is awesome. I love that they did that for us. They didn't have to dump it out and ruin the box. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys! Ah, come on. I don't know, I'm trying to be delicate here. Oh. Alright, so here's the back side of the box. It says, The Bride of Frankenstein, which can I just say I love that it is the Bride of Frankenstein doll. It's not Frankenstein and the Bride. It is the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein. Like, Alright, so, Bride of Frankenstein doll. I want a friend like me. What does a monster have to do to find a mate? Have her built, of course. Dr. Frankenstein was a little hesitant to help, but with his fiancée screaming from a deep, dank dungeon, it wasn't too hard to convince him to get with the program. So, a little human heart here, a cadaverous leg there, zap with lightning and bam, she's alive. Alive, the Bride of Frankenstein. Look at her, in all her ghoulish glam glory. That shocking hair really pops against the chilling gauzy white gown. And did you get a peek at her shoes? Like Dr. Pretorius says, science, like love, has her little surprises, and my pale bride is just full of them. Man, we look so good together. It's causing a real mob in the village. If only she would stop screaming when she sees my handsome mug. I guess it's like Pretorius said. Erg, I really hate quoting that guy. The heart is more complex than any other part of the body. One day she'll see, dead or alive, we were made for each other. And then lastly it says, from the makers of Monster High, Skullector. Are you ready? Here they are on the side, an image of the bride and Frank. And Bride of Frankenstein on the other side. And from the makers of Monster High, Scullector. The Bride of Frankenstein, again, from the makers of Monster High, Scullector. And you have half of Bride's face and half of the monster's face over here. Which it looks like they're different heights, which they better be. Okay. Ready? Ah! Oh my gosh. They're so cute! Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm not keeping them in the box, because, like, the box won't open enough that you can actually see them. We belong dead. It says over here in the lightning bolts. And then you have kind of like a lab setting down here. And over on this side, you have a long set of stairs with a chair down here. There is so much glare, we cannot see them at all. Let's... I'm hoping that they kind of open like Laguna, but it doesn't look like it. So that plastic does not come off. That is a solid part of the box. I had to open it from the top, which did mean the box ripped a little bit, but it's okay. It's only on the top. But if you're wondering, that plastic is part of the box and cannot be removed. So if you want to see them without glare, you would have to take them out of the box entirely. Which is what we are going to be doing now. I just want to show off the background first. So we have more of that like lab setting. Oh, so beautiful. This will also be, well, I don't know if he is on the original Monster Sculpt or not. But yeah, I love this height difference. This is gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna, let's see, there's some stuff on the back of the box as well, but let's go ahead and start. Look, they're holding hands. Oh. All right, so I have them fully free now. I want to go over the things I find weird first before, or annoying first before I get into things I like. Bride does have a very thin chiffon train here, which of course they tacked in with those plastic ties. So of course there's a run in it already. So just be careful with that. If you are taking them out, just be careful. And then they gave them both stands. They're both identical base, and stick, but they are the two different waist clips. However, it feels kind of funny on the monster because number one, his shoes are literally bigger than the stand base, and number two, he's like so thick it was really hard to get the waist clip on, but I was able to get his jacket over the top, so it kind of looks kind of neat and tidy, which is kind of how I like to have them when they have the clips, is kind of stick it over the top. All right, so that's the things that I don't like now on the, or that I find strange, at least. I don't like that the skirt is already ripped, and I just find it strange that the stand hardly really fits Frank, or the monster. It comes with the certificate of authenticity. It is kind of this like thick kind of like foam cardboard rather than just like a flimsy paper, so that's kind of cool. Mattel creation certificate of authenticity. I don't want to like square it up so that like people can like steal it, but it doesn't have any numbers or anything on it. It says, from the makers of Monster High / Collectors, the Bride of Frankenstein, this certificate that your Monster High Collector Bride of Frankenstein doll materialized through the collaborative efforts of designers and artists at Mattel. And then signed by Rebecca Shipman, which is one of the designers that's been with them for a long time. All right. I think she's my favorite, so we're going to look at Monster first. So they did a great job with his sculpt. So he of course has the I wish I had a way to put the camera higher and the doll lower. That's what I'm missing. I have a way to put the camera lower, but not the doll, or not the, yeah. So he has the flat top head, which I love that so much. And then these bolts here on the top. And he has stitching along the side of his face into the hairline here. I love this molded on hair. Like it's perfect for him. He has nice big ears, and then there's green paint like all around the eyes to give it that sunken in look. And he has brown eyes with lightning bolts in them. And then a light bit of gray on his lips just to kind of make them stand out against his face. So cool. Of course, he does have the neck bolts because this is the Universal Monsters version of Frankenstein, so he can be green and have neck bolts because those are the things that they originated. Which I, in my humble opinion, seeing as they can still create the ones like this, I think that in order to get this collaboration is why they changed some of the design features on Frankie. Not because they had to, but because in order to make a better... not because like Universal was going to sue them, but like because they wanted to have a better relationship with Universal. But I don't know because I'm not there and I'm not involved in it. But that's just what I seem to notice since they've been making these collaboration dolls, which I hope they continue to make. And I hope that they continue to sell out slower like these ones did and not as quickly as the Holiday Draculaura did. But the Holiday Draculaura also was a minimal release on Mattel and is going to have a wider in-store release. So that's why I'm not as worried about it. All right, so anyway, moving on. We have his, is that, I guess that would be a two-piece suit? I don't know, unless it's a three-piece. But this is just like a t-shirt underneath. Actually, it's a tank top. It's a wife beater that fits him quite loosely. but it's kind of soft. It's that normal, like, Ken material that you get. And then we have this, which is like the thicker, like, faux denim type material that we usually tend to see. That is his jacket and his pants. But I love that, like, he's not just wearing a black suit. He has lightning bolts material designed into the material. So that's a different, like, that's more of like a, because of the printing, it almost gives it like a pleathery feel. But I'm pretty sure it's all just the same material. It's just printed on top of it. But it's pretty cool. He has these nice big hands, which again, I don't have any original Monsters, so I don't know if these are, I'm guessing that this sculpt is unique, at least for the hands. I don't know if the body sculpt is unique, but the hands, like, most definitely probably are, because, like, these are 100% monster hands, like the monster hands. And then we come down here to his feet, and he does have ankle articulation. Oh, look at that. Stitching at his ankles. I'm gonna probably take his suit off, I guess, then to see if there's anything else on his body anywhere. But look at these shoes! So they're super thick platforms, as is usually known for in the monster. It looks like his shoes have been stitched together, which, I mean, I would assume since he has such large feet that he would have to do that in order to get shoes that fit. The texture down here, like where my fingers are, is just so different, but so incredible. I don't know. I love it. It's almost feels like it's gooey and squishy, but it's not. I don't know. It's really cool. It looks all scratched up. And then at the bottom, we have the treads. Nothing super unique about the treads, but still cool details. That is all the way down to the bottoms of his feet. And then, like I said, he just comes with the clip it's a little bit too small for him. Ugh. But it is the wider clip for the Monsters and black base. That's the same sculpt as before. Heads up, plastic men without clothes on coming in. So here is Frank, and I also brought Deuce because he does, when I was taking him out, he does feel a lot like Deuce, but I can definitely like feel he's smaller than him. They definitely sized up some of his pieces. It's really hard to tell just like looking at them, but I could definitely feel like Frank has definitely been sized up. But he does have the 2022 body mold, which is why I was curious if it was the same as Deuce's, because Deuce has a 2020 body mold. But like I said, it feels very similar, but I feel like Frank has definitely been sized up. He is at least definitely taller than our G3 Monster. So even without his bulky shoes, he is still taller than a basic monster, which works because the monster is supposed to be in high school and he's supposed to be an adult, and the monster is supposed to be big. He's supposed to be taller than anyone else, so cool. We're gonna put Deuce away for now. I just want to show you the stitching on the monster's arm here. So it goes all the way around on this arm and has just basic stitching, and then this arm has a little bit of a like a staple there, and then stitching all the way around. And then at his ankles, same thing, he has the stitching all the way around. While I have it off, I'll show you the articulation. So he has a head up and down, side to side, shoulders, elbows. Let's see what we can get a 90. There we go. Wrist, which has the flip and the spin. And then we have hip articulation, which is our pretty standard hip articulation. Knees and ankles. So also, before we get him redressed, I wanted to show you that on the inside of his jacket, he has a little tag that says the makers of Monster High Skullector 2021. So I don't think that's on any other piece of his clothing. It's just on the back of his jacket, but it's still really cool. So also, I just love these shoes so much. So I got him redressed. And right now he is completely standing on his own, which is not surprising. Like, looking at those shoes, I figured that was going to be the case, which is kind of why I figured they kind of didn't really care too much about making sure the stand actually fit him, because he kind of stands without it. I'm still probably going to keep him on the stand just for, like, evenness of display purposes, but we'll see. Because Because also now it's gonna, like, he's still massively taller than her, even with her on the stand, but still, it changes the height difference just a little bit, so. I want to point out before I move on some things I noticed while I was redressing. Number one, super excited to say that I was able to undress and redress him completely without having to take his hands off, because it always makes me nervous when I have to pop their hands off. And number two, look at all the sculpted detail on the underside of his hand. Like, look at all those, like, skin grooves and everything. That's so cool. I love it so much. And then the backside where you can see his bones stretching through the skin. Like, so cool. And I also noticed this molded in scar on his forehead. I don't know if I pointed that out before, but it's actually like in the mold, which is super cool. So that's a better look at his face too. It's a little bit more focused than last time. All right, now we're really gonna move on to the bride here in just a second. Like I said, I'm just gonna show you how I kind of put it on the stand, pull it up, and then I kind of just, here, it's easier to do it this way, to be honest. I kind of just jimmied the clip around his waist, which is very much stretching, does not like this, and then stick it back onto the peg. There we go, and then just straighten his jacket up over the top, and ta-da! Just like that, he's on the stand. Put his hands out. All right, on to bride. So first of all, her hair, like, her head ends right about where my fingers are. This is all literally just hair. Like, this is coarse textured hair. Like, this is like what they use on, like, darker skinned, like, fine hair, coarse hair texture dolls. Like, this is so awesome. It just literally just stands up on its own like that. It's so well done. There's no, like, hairspray or anything like that. It's just because of the texture that they use and the amount that they use. It's all the way through. Like, I could put my finger through it. Like, that's so amazing. And of course, we have her white streak going up, and then there's something, it feels like there's something like maybe a rubber band or something keeping the hair all together up at the top. We're not going to mess with that because we want her hair to stay up nice and tall. And she has the white streak on both sides of her hair, which is super cool. And then she does have a, I believe, unique face sculpt to her. That's something that Monster High is really strong with, and even though in the originals they all have the same body type, they at least all had different and unique face sculpts. So she has very sharp features, in my opinion, which is really cool. She has quite a bit of a forehead, but then it comes to these big black eyebrows. And she has very dark eyes, again, still with the lightning bolts in them, and a little bit of pink and blue eyeshadow, which is really cute because that's very similar to her daughter style, which is pink and blue, and sometimes yellow for Frankie. At her ears and chin area, she has these Y stitchings on both sides. And then, of course, she has her nose, which is this cute, like, little button nose, which is so beautiful. I love it. And then these really dark, like, burgundy lips, which is so fun because, like, this is kind of similar to the color that I usually wear, which is this, like, dark burgundy. I'm in love with this doll so much. And then she has this little cute little cleft right here in her chin, which is really adorable. I love it. It's such a unique sculpt. All right. Sorry, I was dealing with something really quick. So, this is gonna sound really stupid, but for some reason, the top part of her outfit kind of feels like old Master Luke's outfit from Star Wars. Not in a bad way, it's just kind of funny. I don't know, that's why I think, what I keep thinking of. Maybe it's because of the way that this, like, cape piece is going off of her shoulder. But this cape piece is super cool. It goes all the way down to the ground. It's made up these, like, little pieces of, like, tooling of some sort, so it's all one big tool piece with then these, like, tendrils hanging off of it, which I don't believe this is part of the original bride design. I think this is part of the, like, making her Monster High doll design, but I could be wrong. She has this little turtleneck, which I'm not sure, it might be a separate piece. I think it is. I think it's a turtleneck under a tank shirt. So the turtleneck that goes up here and then has the little puff sleeves. That is that, like, the gauze wrapping that they were talking about. It does feel, honestly, like gauze wrapping, which is pretty cool. And it looks like it's more of a dickie, because see, it ends right about here. You can kind of see it. And then she has her body here. She does not have the chest articulation, so she has the regular body sculpt from the Gen 1 Monster High dolls. She has this long overskirt that's very flowy. Like I said, it actually goes, there we go. Oh, sorry. It kind of goes past her feet. It drags on the floor a little bit, which is kind of cool. Gives her this nice pretty train. She has a belt here that is made out of the bolts, or the like staple stitchings, which is really cool. And then underneath this longer train is a more of that gauze material to make a panel, essentially a modesty panel, because of it being the sheer fabric. It is sewn together apparently, so you can't take those off separately. Here we go. And then her shoes are, again, that like gauze wrapping, which is really cool. And then she has these clear bottoms down here with ballerinas in the heel, but they kind of look like, I don't know, like test tubes with these like ballerinas in them. And then trying to see that. So it's like lab equipment. So these are like test bottles. Like when you see all those like liquids like flowing together into one thing and then going into another thing. That's so cool. Those shoes are freaking epic. I'm not sure why they're ballerinas, but they look like a little mold that goes in a jewelry box that I had as a kid. And I do actually mean like this size. Like it was a Barbie jewelry box that had like a Barbie that was like that size in it. It wasn't like, oh, because, you know, it's just generic Barbie. Like I literally feel like I had that mold in something as a kid. But these are so epic. I love this like clear blue to them. The bottom even looks kind of like a potion bottle that's bubbling up. They went all out on these. That is so cool. Which is, of course, why they mentioned them on the box, because they're like, look at all that we did to the shoes. Look how cool they are. So, she is so, so amazing. So, so amazing. Alright, so I was going to take off her clothes so you can see all the pieces, but it does appear that this is all one piece here. It is attached at different points. It just kind of, it is multiple layers, but it is all together connected as one piece. And I'm not seeing any additional stitching anywhere on her body, including even like at her ankles or anything. The only stitching I'm seeing is this here by the jawline. She does have a 2021 head mold, which so does Frank. Which means they've been working on these for a while, which I love that. And then let's see if we can find her body sculpt. There it is. This is the 2008, so this is the original body sculpt for the Monster High dolls. And like I said, all of this is one piece. However, the cape is a separate piece. That's kind of an interesting how they did it. So it's just a loop like this. So they just put the loop essentially, oh, and the belt is a separate piece. But they like kind of put her arms back, put her arms through that loop, and then just kind of pulled it up to the shoulders, and it kind of creates that like loop back there. Ta-da! Super easy once you get her hands through. And there's her cape back. So you can take that off if you don't like it and you want to leave it a little bit more classic. But I personally, at least for now, I'm going to be keeping that on because I love it. And then her hand sculpt is, she does have some pretty long nails on there. I don't know if this is a unique hand sculpt or if it's been used before. But it is, I feel, very similar, at least in shape to most of the G3 dolls, where it kind of has that like splayed hand style. So I'm gonna take that and just kind of clip it on there. And she has a like a white gray skin tone, and he has a very deep green skin tone. I kind of wanted to compare it to a original Frankie skin tone, which is why I have her back there, but I can already see that it's very different. But at the same time, I guess it is kind of a good in between the two kind of colors. So we have, like I said, this like very deep green, and then we have a very pale, and she's kind of this like pale minty green. And she's actually, well, this one has roller skates on, but they are kind of about the same thickness at the bottom of the bride's shoes. So that's why they're kind of about the same height. The bride does look a little bit shorter. But I don't know if that's... Let's take this one instead and see. I think it may just be because of the shoes. Because if we put this Frankie, which is, yes, a 2022 doll, so it would be the same as these, but they're both on the 2008 body mold. But yeah, so if you look at original skin tone of Frankie compared to these two, it is kind of somewhere like right there in the middle. She looks pretty great with them. I would love to have an original Frankie to put with them rather than the skullectomic rather than the roller skater one. But for now, this one will do, so that I at least have a Frankie, or I could put this one with them, which is the black and white one, which she is supposed to be inspired by their original movie being in black and white. So either way, there she is with her parents, which is so cool. I'm so happy to have them in my collection. Like, the fact that I got them, that I have them in my hand, that I was able to get them directly from Mattel and not pay like scalper prices, like it still doesn't even like really comprehend. Like, I adore them so much, and I'm so happy to have them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and helped you to you know, get to see a little bit closer up on the dolls. I think that they were 100% worth the money that I spent on them, which I believe they were for $95, which, considering as my Laguna was $75 for just one of them and it was $95 for the set, I was pretty happy with that. So obviously they are sold out, so you can't get them from Mattel Creations anymore, but I'm still 100% happy with them, and I just am over the moon that I have these dolls in my hand and they belong to me. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will all see you very soon. Bye.